So we are live. Let's do some check in here and see what we got going on while the good people get themselves together. Let's
Yes,
see.
ma'am.
Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, it says we on. Yeah, we on here.
Hi, everyone.
So we were just doing some technical checks before we got started. We like to be on time around here, around
Oh,
these parts.
absolutely.
And you all technically still have a minute. So as we are checking everything on our end, go ahead and send this out to some folks. You definitely don't want to miss this conversation. We have already been having a great conversation behind the scenes. And so we're going to pull the curtains back and kind of let you all hear what we've been talking about, share some very good things that we don't typically talk about, some areas that we kind of just glance over. And as Derica and was talking earlier, as women, sometimes we wear the cape and we make it look easy.
Mhm.
And although the cape is flying, it can be heavy. But we're going to talk about it tonight. We're going to get into it. So, y'all got a little bit of time. Go ahead and share this out. And if y'all have questions, we are using some good technology tonight. So, we should be able to see what you all kind of share. But we are excited. Erica, you got anything you want to talk about? Say to the good people.
Listen, thank you all for spending this evening with us. So excited to just really be candid, be raw, and share all the good stuff. So make sure you have your drink in hand. You make sure you have your notebook, your pen, and we're gonna get into it. And make sure you ask any questions you want to ask.
All right. So it looks like we are right at the, I was trying to find the chat feature on here. Okay, so got it. So I'm excited, you all, because I have my sister, and she promised that she's going to be on her best behavior tonight.
I might.
Oh, so this is how we're going to start off today. But I am your host, Kiana Talena, and I want to welcome you all to the Hearts Hello Show. I know that a lot of you all have listened in audibly, but I'm now taking this so that you all can kind of see behind the scenes, have some conversations with us, because I believe that these conversations are necessary and needed. It's great for you to hear it sometimes, but it's also good for you to see the faces behind the individuals who are sharing the stories. So, again, I'm Kiana Talena, and I may share why I'm Kiana Talena, but I'm here with my sister, one of my besties, Derica Wilson.
Hi.
Derica,
Thank you so much, sis. I appreciate you so much. More than you know.
so we're not going to get emotional tonight. We are going to keep it very light. But you all, when I say we met just by being at a place that we kind of called the circus, but it was, how many years ago has it been now, Derica? Over 10 years?
It's been about 20, no, I'm sorry. It's been about 15 years now.
Okay, so in that 15 years, and I'm just going to give a high level of what I know about you. From shot put queen to, let's see, police officer, to working for the government, to being the co founder of Black and Missing, to now running alongside of your husband with his company, you all's company, Authors Flooring. And then you had the audacity to say, you know what? I am going to go into interior design, in addition to just some global stuff. But you are the epitome of when someone says that they are going to do something, not only do you do it, but you do it with grace, you do it with integrity, and you bring people along with you on the journey. And so today we are talking about evolution. We are talking about journey. We are talking about purpose. We are talking about passion. We are talking about women doing the thing. So share with me a little bit about how Derica Wilson got started.
Wow, sis, that high level was very powerful. For those viewers and listeners out there that may not know, I'm originally from Spartanburg, South Carolina. And in 1999, I decided to move up north. But prior to me moving up north, I used to share with my parents and my grandparents that I was too big for South Carolina. I felt
Mm,
that South Carolina would have put me in a box. And I had so much in me that I saw for myself that I wanted to do. And when I started looking at where I wanted to go, it was between the DC area, Charlotte, and Georgia. I prayed on it and it led me to here. And this is where I have been ever since. When I went off to school, I couldn't decide if I wanted to go into education or if I want to go into law enforcement. And so I said, well, why not have my cake and eat it too? So I went
no,
into law enforcement where I was also able to teach in the schools. I used to teach the DARE curriculum and I used to teach the GREAT curriculum, which is a game curriculum. So I was able to do that. But what I saw in myself is that I was always willing to serve. And it has translated throughout my journey as I look back over my years, everything, whether it was law enforcement, the Black and Missing Foundation, Authors for Home Improvement with my husband, it's all about serving. And I know that that is my purpose. I know that's my purpose because I was told that's my purpose.
mm,
I demand.
okay. So when you say, because you hit on something that a lot of people question, is when they hear that voice. And
Ooh,
so, what was it for you when you knew without a shadow of a doubt that, all right, I prayed about it, but I'm maybe not sure. Hmm, let me think about it. And sometimes people will do that. They will question and then they'll actually sit on their purpose because they feel like, well, I didn't get the answer that I was expecting, or God will share exactly what it is that they're supposed to be doing, but they themselves can't see themselves doing it. So they'll still sit and say, well, God, send me more confirmation. Send me another sign. Send me a person through Amazon delivery that's going to tell me exactly what it is that I'm supposed to be doing because I'm not sure. But in everything that you decided to do, it was outside of your comfort zone. It was outside of the norm. And so it's like, well, at what point for you did you had that prayer, you made that move, but what did that voice sound like for you? Was it loud? Was it soft? Was it go now? Was it how what was that feeling that you had?
I was so young at the time. Sometimes it's really hard to, I guess, dissect. You know what I mean? Like, I grew up in church. And so, for my parents and my grandparents, they always said, you never question God, you never question God.
Mhm.
And so I look at my journey over the years and I realize that everything that I have done has prepared me for where I am today. But at that time, years ago, I didn't recognize that. I didn't see that.
Mhm.
And when he laid it on my heart and on my spirit, I'm a very obedient person. And
Okay.
I learned to move at his pace and not Derek's pace. I think
Mm.
that's so important where sometimes we want things to happen instantly because we're on our time. And I had to learn very early on. And I think this area and being away from my family helped me mature in an unimaginable way, figuring it out, planning, praying, staying prayed up, right? And so when Natalie and I started the Black and Missing Foundation, we knew that was our purpose. It was an assignment. And tell anyone, this is an assignment. This is a labor of love. This is so much bigger than us.
Yeah.
And we're just being obedient because I don't want to be at Judgment Day trying to explain why I didn't do what I was supposed to do. Okay.
Girl, talking about what had happened was absolutely not.
Yes, and I take that very seriously, and I'll say that it's not easy. That road is a very, very heavy road because we're going on 18 years of doing this.
Mm.
Combining our professions and our expertise to be able to help families across this country. And I know for me, working in law enforcement, working in that space, as I look back over my years, it really
Mhm.
prepared me for where I am today. Just like Natalie working in, communications and PR, and we've been able to continue to grow as an organization. So I'm very proud of that. And of course, at the same time, while we were growing our organization, we were both working. I'm working my government job. And
Mhm.
so I think it's so important for people to understand that sometimes, even though God gives you your purpose, and for me, I had to be still. I had to listen. I had to be obedient. I was still working my regular 9 to 5. In
Yeah.
fact, it wasn't until the 14th year of the birth of Black and Missing Foundation that I actually retired from my government job. So doing that full time and then doing Black and Missing full time, it was a lot. But there were some things that led up to my transition and my transformation to this new chapter in my life.
So let's dive into that. Let's talk about, because you've said journey several times, and even in conversations that we've had where a memory may pop up on, Facebook will give you the memories, but then you get to a place in life where you realize the things that you have been through have prepared you for the exact moment that you're in now. And so sometimes I think that we get to a place where we don't always realize it. And at the time, it feels extremely heavy. But when you look back on it, it's like, I had to go through that to learn this. I had to work this job in order to get the skill sets necessary and needed to do this. I had to lose this in order to gain that. And so a lot of people, I don't think they realize that that journey can be difficult, but also, what was it for you looking back to figure out, like, I didn't think that this was going to be the direction that I was going to go in order to get me here. So what was that piece? What was that journey? What was that moment for you?
I know exactly the moment everything changed for me. I think before I dive into that moment, I think it's important for us, especially as Black women, to show ourselves grace, right? Sometimes we don't realize that we're in a stressful place or a stressful
Mm.
environment environment until you're removed from that environment.
Mm-hmm.
Never thought I was stressed out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so strong and
Mm-hmm.
go getter until I had a setback. And
Mm-hmm.
my setback was in 2021. I lost my brother. I ended up with COVID and I was hospitalized.
Mm-hmm.
And I had pneumonia in my lungs. I didn't think I was going to make it. But God had other plans for me. And so, in the midst of me getting released from the hospital after spending 2 weeks in there and coming home with oxygen and out of work for 3 months, I had a lot of clarity. I had a lot of time to do.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I noticed from a health perspective is that I'm not suffering from any migraines. Kiana, you know me. You know I was a migraine sufferer, right? We were in a space. And I would go to my neurologist. I was getting tests every year. They're doing all these type of tests. I'm on medication for onset, preventative, all of that. And when I was out of work, I didn't experience a migraine at all.
Mm-hmm.
3 months, 3 months. I was like, And then I just had this. I think sometimes when you have an experience,
Mm-hmm.
it puts things into perspective for you.
Yes, it does.
And because of that experience that I had, I knew. I knew that I was given a second chance. And I said, you know what? I would not take it for granted. And that is when things started spiraling in a good way for me.
Mm-hmm.
When I went back to work, there was a new director that was assigned to the agency I work for. And anyone that knows me, I get along with any and everybody, right? But this person's spirit did not connect with my spirit. And I'm a spiritual person. So if
Mm-hmm.
my spirit and my spirit don't connect, then there's a problem. And I
And Mindy is getting ready to show up.
yeah.
But go ahead. Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
see, it's something like I was sitting in these meetings and I see how this person was berating my colleagues, and I said, "Oh, if I ever had an experience like that, then it's going to be something." And the person tried it, and of course, he had to deal with my other side, but
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
but I knew that my days were numbered. And it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't until we traveled out of town, Natalie and I, we were traveling, and I always sleep on the airplane. And that night we received an award the night before we left. And I remember someone calling my name after the ceremony. And I was actually having a conversation with someone. I heard someone call my name. I looked and I saw someone coming towards me. I turned back to the person I was talking to, and then I looked again, and the fact that this person shared a message with me and they just disappeared is
Mm-hmm.
like beyond, it's like indescribable. And so the person that I was initially talking to never saw the person that shared this message with me. And I just said that it was an angel, and not going really deep into it because, it's on the spiritual realm. And sometimes I just kind of keep things close to my vest. But there was a message that was shared with me on
Mm-hmm.
that weekend. And I knew that it was a message from God.
Absolutely.
And that was that Saturday night. That Monday, I'm working from home. Now I start, my mind is racing. So now I'm calling HR. I'm like, what does my retirement look like? And I'm asking all of these questions. But Kiana, I did something in 2022 that I never did before. And that was a vision board. I've never done a vision board before. And on my vision board, I said that I was going to retire. I
Mm-hmm.
also wrote out my retirement letter and I dated
Mm-hmm.
it. Was
Mm-hmm. I remember you telling me.
October
Mm-hmm.
1st, 2020. And I remember having a conversation with my mom, and I said, I'm going to retire October 1st, 2022. And she said, "Oh, that's your timing, not God's." And she's just like, "Oh, nonchalant, very casual." And I'm like, "Okay." And fast forward, I left May 20th, 2022. And it was the message that was shared with me that gave me the sign. Like I didn't need any other signs. The sign
Absolutely.
leading up.
Yeah.
Now it's taking a leap of faith. Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Derica, how many signs do we need to give you? How many times we need to knock you upside your
Girl.
head that you know it's your time? So that Tuesday, so that Monday night, I typed up my retirement letter and I say, Lord, if it's your will to be done. That
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday is my one-on-one, meeting with the executive director, and it's at 3 o'clock. And I said, I'm gonna let him know then. And that's exactly what I did. And I haven't looked back. I have not looked back.
I just I just remember our conversations, even when we were both there. And it was you at one point it's I'm not gonna be working here. I'm gonna retire. And I'm like, okay, okay. And we would
Manifest.
always have this conversation, but it's nothing like God's timing. It's nothing like when he says, you know what? Go. Go now. And it's the go now that's important. So
Yeah.
even when I think back to when we both were there and I look back 10 years from now, and I've even shared that when I wrote my first book, I did not realize that it was a blueprint 10 years ago
Mm-hmm.
for the next 10 years of my life. But it was obedience to write it. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think that a lot of times, like you said, we will look for the confirmation, listening for the confirmation, but the confirmation was already given. And so when you're constantly asking, what should I be doing? What should I be doing? And God is like, girl, I already told you. So why are you asking me, just as parents, right? If I told you to do something,
Mm-hmm.
am I
That's
going to repeat myself? Am
that's
I
right.
going to have to tell you again what I just told you? Because if I'm sharing it with you as your parent, I have your best interest at heart. And so when we don't move, when God says move, that's like I'm telling you, hey, don't cross that street because I already see the car coming.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see the car coming, but I do as the parent. And sometimes, and I know for me, I don't always get it right. And there are times when I've missed it. Like when I was just sharing with you, with me being part of workforce reduction for over a year, I heard God tell me, so you're going to keep putting purpose on the back burner. You're going to keep putting purpose on the back burner. And I'm like, but I'm making some money. So I'm gonna do purpose, but I'm gonna do purpose when I feel like doing purpose. And God was like, oh,
Mm-hmm. You trying to be on your time. You trying to
okay,
be your time.
okay. And so at that time, I was job stacking. So not only did I have the first position, both of them workforce reduction. The first position gone. And then I was like, I'm good because the second position, I'll be all right. I'm still making good money. And God's like, oh, she's not listening. Oh, okay. So let me go ahead, let me get that too.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, oh, okay. So you were serious when you said you said um when you said what you said. And I was like, well, I'm gonna do it when I feel like doing it. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay, well, it's no problem, no problem. I have, building the businesses, getting the things going. And then I'm like, oh, okay, so I'm applying for jobs and can't get them. And I'm like, well, I know I'm qualified.
Right.
What's the problem? 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 15 months out of work. And God's like, oh, but I got your attention now, right? You listening now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that purpose that you knew you were supposed to be doing, you're gonna do that now. And it's okay to have the job and do both.
Yes.
Purpose doesn't get the back burner.
Yes.
Purpose is the thing that fuels you. Purpose is the thing that you wake up every morning because are you telling me that you're going to show up for your job but not show up for purpose?
Right.
So it was those that journey that you talked about where it's like, oh, I get it now.
Mm-hmm.
So I can have the career. And so now what it is that I'm showing is I can have the career and purpose at the same time. But
Yes.
the career doesn't come before purpose. And when I got that, when I realized that, God was like, oh, okay, well, yeah, the position that you want, you getting ready to have it. When I applied for the position, I
Mm.
knew that I was going to have it. This company that I'm at now, I applied 61 times
See.
and then got the position. But that was after over 400 applications that I had done within the year. But 60 at this company. And I kept saying, what is going on? But it wasn't until it was settled that I
Mm-hmm.
had to sit, like you said, to sit and be like, um, okay, what we doing? But
Right.
God's like, you never lacked for anything.
Yep.
I knew that it was God saying, oh, you're going to pay attention. And
Mm-hmm.
not only are you going to pay attention, you're going to show other people that purpose does not get the back seat. Your career, cool, work that. But you telling me you're going to show up for 8 hours out the day and then not work your purpose? I can fix that.
And with both of us, we are so blessed to know what it is that we are called to do. There are so many people that are out there that are still trying to figure out what it is they are supposed to do. And it may not even just be one thing, you know? Like
Mhm.
even with me, I combine purpose and passion
Yes,
together.
yes.
And that is like part two of Derica. That is where I am now. And I'll be completely honest with you. Yes, we used to have those discussions all the time about the days numbered, about me being here. But I'm gonna tell you, sis, when I turned 40, a lot of things changed. I
Talk
mean,
about it. Talk about
I
it. Talk
I
about it. It's something about that number.
it was I don't I turned 40. And I know for everyone that's out there watching, I know I look like I'm 40. I'm not. I'm actually aging gracefully. But I think with us, we are so given of ourselves to everyone
Hmm.
else. And your work, your spouse, your children, and sometimes your family, and you neglect to take care of you. And so when I turned 40, honey, I had a whole brand new attitude. Okay? Um, Alter Ego came out, meet me. Yes, I was like full effect. Yes, this is
Yes.
Derica. Derica became more intentional.
Hmm.
Derica set boundaries.
Hmm.
Derica would say no. And I realized
Period.
it's okay to say no. And
Hmm.
I also realized that I wasn't going to do anything that did not serve me. And so when you figure that out, that piece, and so now I'm in a different space in my life.
Hmm.
I couldn't be happier because I am guarded. I'm guarded. I surround myself with, I've always surrounded myself with positive people, but my circle's always been very small. But I'm very intentional about everything.
Hmm.
One thing that my husband has taught me, working alongside him, and I absolutely love working alongside my husband, because he let me be as creative as I want to be. He is like the
Oh,
supportive person. Like he's always supported me in all of my multifaceted, paths. But my husband, he's like, look, the phone is shutting off at this time. Like my
yeah.
husband would tell folks, these are my hours. And he
Mm-hmm.
shuts that phone off. My husband's phone does not come on Sundays. He's like, that's family day. And, me being so given and I'm always available, he was like, no, you're going to cut that out
Mm-hmm.
because you have to protect your peace too. And then there's like boundaries and there's family. And I know that's something that I needed too because I'm like, oh yeah, I can be here, I can be there, yes to
Girl.
everything. And so that's something that I actually needed. I needed that. And, you know, being in the position now, especially leaving from the government, and still doing Black and Missing Foundation with Natalie. We also have a production company, Bamfi Enterprises. We have so many things coming down the pipeline. Then, with Authors Fund and Home Improvement, what I realize is that when you do what you enjoy, it's not work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
With our home improvement company, that is my balance act, Kiana.
Mm-hmm.
Because Black and Missing is heavy. It
Girl,
is
yeah.
heavy. It's
Yeah.
heavy, and so that is my outlet to really tap into my creativity to help. So people always ask, like, what do you do for self-care? What do you do because this stuff is so heavy? Well, that's my escape. I
Mm-hmm.
like to pay people money. To I like to shop for my clients, and I like to fix up their homes. And you've even gone
Mm-hmm.
shopping with me, and
I'm not saying anything. You're not gonna get me in trouble with Arthur. Absolutely not. No, ma'am. Arthur,
I
I do not approve this message. No, ma'am. Mm-mm.
but it's been such a joy, because again it still ties back to what I do, and that's serving. So whether it's in the capacity of what Nally and I do, helping families across this country to get answers or reunions, or whether it's us with our production company to tell these stories in the manner in which they should be told, or if it's bringing a smile to a homeowner's face to give them exactly what they envisioned and give them that service, because people love service. And
Yes.
that's one of the things, like even with us launching our interior design concierge service with Office Point, we want to make it easier for people, and we want the process to be seamless. So that just allows me to be in a space that just gives me such fulfillment and joy, and it's a great balance between the two. So again, people ask me all the time, about what I do, and I'll tell any and everyone, Black and Missing is my purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Office Store and Home Improvement is my passion. And what I did was I married the two for the balance that I need.
And I love that because a lot of people get stuck in the passion piece of it and they don't get a chance to move past that into the purpose piece. So they get stuck there and but I love doing this. I love doing, and that's great. But then there's an assignment.
Mm-hmm.
And as you already alluded to, that assignment is not for the faint at heart. That assignment will have you up at night tossing and turning. That assignment will
Yes.
have you questioning your very being on this earth.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's so fulfilling.
Yeah.
It's so fulfilling when you can serve people to a point where they're like, but you did it so gracefully. you did it with a smile on my face. You did, not knowing how heavy it was to carry it, because you ultimately you're carrying it for them, but they don't realize that. But
Mhm.
that passion piece is what allows you to kind of pull yourself away from that and say, okay, I'm going to focus in on this, because now this is the part that brings me joy, but this brings me joy in another space.
Mhm.
And so when you're able to pull those pieces together, it's like, okay, now you have this almost like a balancing act. You can, I'm happy here, I'm happy there, and then I can still do what it is that I'm supposed to do and rest.
Yes.
So when you talked about that 40 though, I don't know what it is about 40, but baby,
Yes.
40 had me feeling myself. But it was in a way where for me that I really got a chance to understand me.
Yes. Yes.
And so you can, especially as you talked about being the wife, being the business owner, being the employee, being the mother, you have all of these different roles. But when you don't understand you
Mhm.
and you don't take that time to focus in on who you are, you begin to sit back and you're realizing, like, I have done so much for everyone else,
Yep.
but now what do I do?
Yep.
So 40 for me, when what was it? First, I cut the back and sides off of the locks. And I was like, okay, I've had these locks for 10 years. Because there's stories, there's journey in your hair.
Don't even go
So
with
it
the
was
hair.
like, yeah. So, okay, first it was, okay, I'm not ready to get rid of all of that yet. So let me just cut the back and sides off and I'll keep the locks up at the top. And then it was, nah, I ain't feeling that either. Let me get rid of this too. Oh, okay, I like that, because you don't realize that locks are heavy. But then when you start correlating the locks to what you've been going through in life, and it's like, whew, okay, I can lighten my load a little bit. I can feel lighter. And I'm like, oh, like that.
So listen,
And then
we talk all the time, and we've never shared our lock journey. Like we've
mm-mm.
had that discussion. So everyone that's out here listening, Kiana and I,
Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all in on our whole conversation. We talking to each other, but y'all are listening.
y'all are listening. We've never shared anything about our locks. We've never talked about our locks. And I've
Mm-mm.
seen your transformation, your evolution. You've seen mine. And it
Mhm.
is so funny because we were just having a conversation yesterday um, uh, at a meeting. Natalie and I were at a meeting, and the news anchor she said, "I remember our first interview. You had locks. Your hair was long." And I shared with her, I started my lock journey the same time we started the Black and Missing Foundation. And my
Mm.
lock journey it's been my hair, the evolution of my hair has been spiritual, and every
Mhm.
change represented a different point of elevation in the
Mhm.
organization. So
Mhm.
my hair, and I've shared that yesterday, but I've shared that with many people. My hair tells the story, or told the story of the Black and Missing journey. Every time there was something, and Natalie would tell you, I told her one day, I was like, there's something big that's getting ready to happen because this is my hair. And it's those were just like little signs, and I don't expect everyone to understand that, but I can tell you right now, I understand it, and I know
Yeah.
what I'm supposed to do and at what point. And it has never proved me wrong in this nearly 18 years of, you know, founding Black and Missing Foundation.
Girl,
Yeah,
it,
it's been
it
a journey.
holds. So like even when being pregnant with all four of my boys, like my loctician could tell different things going on in my body just by what was going on in my locks.
Yes.
She's like, what's
Yes.
going on with you? Was you all right? Like even if you're stressed, it shows in your hair.
Yes.
And so to cut it off was part of that 40. To cut it off, and like you talked about, understanding the boundaries, understanding when my no means no, my yes means yes. And so I heard one time listening to a podcast, and they said, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. And I stand by that.
Yes.
People will say, well, I don't see you out. I don't need to be out. I pay mortgage here.
Yes.
It's me in my house.
Mhm.
If you're looking for me, that's where I am.
Yes.
But I'm not, I've learned to be okay with me.
Yes.
And so a lot of people, and that's the other piece to purpose, right? Because when you can't show up authentically as who you are, it's hard for you to step into purpose
Mhm.
because purpose requires you to be who you are supposed to be. So when people say, well, oh, why are you going by Kiana Talena? Because that's my name. The Kiana means God gracious gift, and Talena is a place where treasure is kept. That's my name.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So when you ask, well, why are you not? Because that's who I am. I'm comfortable with me. I can show up as me. And that's when purpose begins to speak louder because you can't walk in purpose and be someone that you're not.
Absolutely.
You can't fully walk in purpose and carry that load when you're trying to put this facade on,
Yeah.
when you're trying to um, play both sides of the field. It doesn't work
Right.
because now you're trying to force yourself to do an assignment that you're technically not qualified to do at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And so when people ask, well, I don't know what to do. What am I supposed to do with purpose? Sit with you. Because until you can sit with you and understand you and be comfortable with you, you can't go out and help someone else when you're still struggling trying to figure out who you are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Purpose needs you good. Purpose needs you whole. Purpose needs you to, as you already alluded to, you're speaking life into people, you're serving people, you're doing all of these things. And yes, you can do it in passion in other different directions. But when purpose calls and you're not sure about you, not only will it call you out, but it will have you in a place where it's like, this is too heavy
Mm-hmm.
because you're dueling both. And it's like, well, are you going to show up as you or who you going to be today? And so I think that when we talk about even passion and purpose, we have to talk about being authentic. And that's one of the amazing things that I love about you is that you're gonna get Derica regardless. Meek may show up, but that's only if you hit that button. But Derica is always going to show up and not only show up, but to serve. Derica's always going to tell you what it is, and how it should be. But that's just authentically you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess for people who are on this journey of trying to figure out what does passion look like for me? What does purpose look like for me? How do I walk in this space? How can I show up? How can you help me to figure out what purpose looks like in my life? What would you tell them?
Well, I would tell them, and it goes back to a chapter in a book that I co-authored, and my chapter is called Chosen.
Come on.
The scripture, and it says, "Many are called, but few are chosen." And I know who I am and whose I am. And I
Mhm.
would tell anyone out there that's listening, when you're trying to understand, sometimes it's you have to be in the right space, right? And whatever it's going to take to remove all distractions so you can be in a position to receive. You can't be sitting here glued on social media trying to figure out what somebody is doing, or in every
Mhm.
space, or listening to all the outside noise. There was many times driving to work and coming home, there's no music on, it was complete silence. That was my time. That was my time to think. That was my time to pray. There was that mental clarity that I needed. And I
Mhm.
don't get caught up in things that don't serve me. I don't get
Mhm.
caught up in the drama. I don't get caught up in all of that. So when you remove those distractions, you put yourself in a position to be able to receive what it is that you need to be doing, that what you are called to do. And always remember that it's on his timing and not your timing. And again, at the tender age of 2021, moving from South Carolina and trying to navigate this space, it was not an easy journey. I mean, it was one of the most difficult things, and that I had to experience. And I shared a little bit about that in our book Uncuffed Voices. I opened up. I was a little vulnerable about who Derica is. But I appreciate it now as I look back on it, because now I understand. I'm older. I'm wiser. And I understand that everything happened for a reason, and it happened the way it was supposed to happen, because it was strengthening and arming me for what it is I'm supposed to do. They always say that God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers, right? But
Woo.
being a soldier, I also have that moment of peace too, where I can say no. I'm not gonna. I
Mhm.
need to rest, because if you don't listen to your body, it has a way of shutting things down for you. And I just think just being very mindful and just embracing your authentic self, without anyone's approval. You don't need anyone's approval. You need to just do what you need to do, and I think you can go down this journey of finding this greatness and this purpose and this passion that you want to do.
Yeah, because you were already born with, and I think that's what a lot of people forget on this journey that we call life. Like, you were already and are already equipped with everything that you need. And so oftentimes you just hit the nail on the head when you begin to scroll social media. You think that everybody's life is good, not realizing that you're only getting a glimpse into maybe 5 seconds of their day, or the lie that they decided to tell today.
Because they're doing it for the gram.
And so here you are trying to compare yourself
Mhm.
to someone else's falseness. And it's like, well, if you focus, and I know that it's easier said than done because we live in this distracted world. But I think a lot of times, if you really take some time to sit still enough, like you talked about, just being in the car, I can sit in my house with nothing on,
Mhm.
no music, no TV, and just be still. still. I'm okay with the quiet.
I
And
love quiet.
I love it.
The older you get, do you realize the older you get how you just you thirst for it, right? Like
Girl.
even nighttime. So in my room, my husband knows I don't want the news on.
Hmm.
It cannot
And
be
I don't
on.
watch the news at all. If it don't pop up on my social media feed, girl, I couldn't tell you what was going on.
Yes, I can, and that is something that even when anyone try to talk to me about it, I don't want to hear it because it's too much, and I have to protect my peace. You
Yes.
know, and that is what it's about. It's protecting my peace and my mental. And so I set boundaries. If it's not going to serve me in a good way, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. And I love, like, I can sit in the house all day just like you, Kiana, and I would not turn my television on. In
Girl.
fact, my new space in my home is my living room. There is no no TV in there. There's no music. There's nothing. It's just, I just sit there in my thoughts. And if I'm not there, I love to be on my deck where I can just really take in what it is that I need to do. Having a clear mindset and just allow myself to open up to figure out what's next or do what's next or what I'm called to do.
Yeah. And even one of my favorite spots now is going to just be by the water, just to go and walk and to just be in that space because it gives you time to slow down. And
Yes.
so many times we want to just kind of go, 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 go. And it's like, slow down.
Yes.
Listen to what's around. Like even if you sit in the house and for those who are listening, turn everything off and sit in
Hmm.
the house and listen. You'll begin to hear stuff that you're like, is that the refrigerator? Is that, oh, okay. I didn't even realize that it made that type of noise. Oh, okay, that's different. Um, it's like, oh, okay. But you're still enough where you're tuned in. And
Yes.
so I know that it can be hard to do. Sometimes you have to turn your phone off, put it in another room. That's what I'm learning even for me now is take the phone, go put it in another room because it's so quick for you to grab it and to look and see what I have to get to a point where I don't care what people think. And that's another piece with purpose is other people are not going to understand your vision. The vision that you gave, that God gave you, was not for them. And so when you're trying to share, oh, well, this is what I'm getting ready to do, or this is what I heard God say, they like, what?
Yeah.
Because it
It's
wasn't
not
for them.
for everybody. Mm-mm. It is not for everybody. Absolutely not. And something that you do and I do, we both do it. We put our phones on do not disturb.
Girl, quick.
And the thing is, the ones that need to get to me, like those family members, of course, their stuff is going to come through. But again, I learned that from my husband. He turns his phone completely off. But I want family to be able to reach out to us because we don't have a landline. So if there is a situation that someone needs to reach out, then they can get through to me, but it's not like they're just calling and
Yeah.
it's not, but I'm so available to, like, in the space that I'm in. I just want to make sure that I set boundaries, whether it's, if I'm dealing with the organization or with the home improvement. I have to have that time to connect with my family because they keep me going, and then
Mhm.
I have to show it for myself. And so, just being able to create those boundaries has been a game changer for me.
So you talked about, and we're coming up on, let's see, we got about 8 more minutes, but I want to dive into because you talked about family. So what is it that's driving you? What is it, the why behind everything that you do? What is that battery in your back that keeps Derica going every day?
My family, my husband, my children, they keep me going. They keep me going. They're right here in my office. They're my why. They're they're why I do everything. And especially this day and time, even more. I mean, I'm a mother of a black daughter, of a black son, of a black husband. Co-founder of an organization that focuses on missing people of color. We all matter. My family matters, and I go hard because of them. And my family, they are part of what I do. So they have been supportive from the very beginning. My husband is supportive. My kids, they've been born into this, and to see how they are coming into their own. And even just when you don't really think they're paying attention, they
Yeah.
are. They are
Yeah.
sponges. So as a mother, and as people are always constantly, telling us that, oh my God, I admire you. I want my children to be better than better
Yeah.
than me. And
Mhm.
so I have to lead by example, so I go hard for my family. They keep me grounded. They keep me grounded.
This is we could go on and on and on and on because that's just how we do.
Yes.
I want to leave the person who is watching this today, who is struggling with or trying to figure out how do I just be who I'm called to be? How do I uh, ignore the distractions? How can I walk in purpose? How can I be that light for someone else? If you could leave them with one thing or share one thing, what would that one thing be?
One thing that I would share is that your journey this far is not in vain. Everything that you have done, everything that you are doing is preparing you for what it is that you are supposed to do. Everything is about timing. You can't rush anything, but what you do have control over is what you feed your mind and your brain.
Mm,
You have to disconnect. And as you stated earlier, it is difficult sometimes, but you have to disconnect. You have to be intentional
mm,
about what it is you're doing, and just stay in prayer. Stay in prayer and ask for signs. Now, when you get those signs and you get those confirmations, it's gonna only be so many times he's gonna keep saying, okay, this is what you're supposed to do. At some point, you have to walk by faith
yeah.
and not by sight. And just trust, and don't ever think that you can't do both. Like, you can't
Mhm.
work on your job and do your purpose, what it is that you're called to do. Because I'm sitting here now saying that for 14 years, with the organization being in existence, you know, I did Black and Missing and a regular job, my regular job. And it's not easy. It is not easy. But I've been in a position where everything that I've done has set me up for what I'm doing now. And not only just planning from a financial standpoint, and even with my husband, but also making sure that I was always in alignment as well, like being in alignment with, um, internally, spiritually, emotionally, physically,
Mm.
everything. It just all comes together. And don't just try to rush what it is that you're trying to do. It takes work. It's hard. It is very hard. These people that I hear this 9 to 5, when you're an entrepreneur, you're working around the clock.
Round. the clock, not around, round
Round the
the
clock.
clock.
Yes.
Because that's one of the things like we used to talk about, even just being the night owl sometimes when the creative juices start, when you're thinking that you're getting ready to turn the lights off for the night and kind of wind down, is when your creative juices ramp up. And it's like, so you want me to write this down right now? You look up, you 30 minutes in, an hour in, 2 hours in. Now you got the laptop out. Now you got the phone out. Now you're back into what you thought was going to be your wind down time, but you have to be obedient to those whispers. You have to lean in, because even like when you're just journaling sometimes, and a lot of people don't feel like, oh, well, journaling doesn't work for me. Well, how long did you sit there to journal? Because not taking your phone out to write notes, no, actually pen to paper, because now your brain is focused in on, I'm writing. Okay, now ask the question, well, God, what is it that you are wanting to share with me? What is it that you want me to know? And just keep writing.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep writing. Just keep writing. And by the time you look up, it's like, oh my gosh, I got a whole nother idea of something else. But if you didn't take that time to get quiet and to say, I'm going to pick this pen up, even when you don't feel like it. And I think that's like you were talking about the intentionality. You have to do it even when you don't feel like it.
And you can always go back to it. And you got to look up one day and be proud of yourself, because this is what you have written down. This is what you can see. This is what you can feel and you can touch. And I know we're both those night owls when the creative juices start flowing. And I love with my sister-in-law, Natalie, who's my partner with Black and Missing Foundation. She's a morning person.
Okay.
So balance is
Y'all
so
working.
she's up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and she
Mhm.
loves that quiet time. And I'm up at nighttime, so it really works. Because don't ask me a question at like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I can't focus. But at night, that's when it all comes to me, and I'm at my best. But I'm at my best too, because everything around me is still. It's like I don't want those distractions.
Well, I am loving this conversation. I'm so thankful to you that you decided, that you said yes.
I
Because
love
I'm
this, and
I'm in
I'm
San Diego for forever. Because I'm like, I don't know where my sister gonna be now. But the fact that you had time to come on here, I appreciate you.
I love you, and
I love
anything
you
for
too.
you. Thank
And
you.
I'm thankful, before I start getting teary eyed, and I'm already am, but I'm thankful for each and every person who took time out of your day, because your time is your most precious commodity. Woo.
Oh,
Um,
you're triggering my allergies.
Girl, but I appreciate this conversation, because there are so many people who walk away from purpose because it feels hard, because
Mhm.
it feels heavy, because it feels like they don't have the support that they need. Keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going. Purpose is an assignment that you want to be on.
And it's bigger than you.
So I'm going to get out of here before I get myself in trouble. And I don't know if it must be something with the air in here that then triggered the allergies.
Is that what it is?
I'm sorry.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's the season has changed,
Mhm.
and I think allergies are ramping up a little bit. But we had a great conversation. I love you. I love you. I love you.
I love you.
And you all, if you have any questions, comments, drop them. We'll come back. and answer them. And maybe we'll do a part two to whatever you all may have questions about. But I know I'm here to serve. Derica's here to serve. We want to see you walking in purpose. We want to see the authentic version of you lighting up every room you walk into. And so I am your host, Kiana Talena, and that's my amazing sister, Derica. And good night.
Good night.